Hey everybody, welcome to Destiny Has No Secrets, an L5R podcast where we talk about everything L5R and everything going on in Rakugan. Um, this week, we will be going over news and announcements, and then after that, we'll be talking about the Doji Hitori storyline our story fan fiction or fiction that was released, and finally wrapping up with our thoughts about the storyline and what we'd like to see. But first, I would like to make the big announcement. We have a co-host. Finally. Um,
Folks.
do you want to introduce yourself?
I am known as Ginger Jesus amongst my friends and family. Well, mostly friends. Family prefer to call me Kevin. Um, uh, otherwise, got into the game at the beginning. If you want to call, God, I don't even know what year that was anymore. Started playing Crab Clan. I've been devoted Crab Clan ever since. Kind of Scorpion. Yeah, sometimes.
Hmm. All
You know
right.
how it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, like you kind of have to take an off break every once in a while. The wall's good. Let's
Yeah,
we can go and scheme in Rakugan for a little while, right?
yeah.
And plus, playing
Well, I mean,
Scorpion can be fun sometimes.
I say crab. I mean Yasuki.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of
You
like
know,
the Scorpion version of the Crab
of the
Clan.
crab. Yeah, it's like yeah, I'm the crab clan that doesn't like getting punched in the face.
Yeah. Making deals. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it there.
Yeah, yeah. The crab clan understand that sometimes honor gets in the way.
So for our listeners out there, what's your big focus here? What do you like? What do you find most interesting about L5R Legend of the Five Rings? I mean, obviously you like playing it, but
Well, I mean, the card game is wonderful. I love the schema. I love the way the game is played. Originally at the beginning when it was AEG's baby, it was a very intuitive system once you kind of figured out the rules, and it was a very fun game to play, and I really enjoyed that. I played it all the way up until I think I got out a year and a half after Day of Thunder, somewhere in that area,
hmm
around when WotC purchased it. The reason I kept playing the game even then, and then I got into the roleplay game, is I loved the characters and the history and the rich diverseness, and it was an amazing kind of just ball of story that I loved.
hmm
But then Wizards bought them. They started doing some weird things with the story, and then they started doing some weird things with mechanics. And I was no longer living at home with my mother anymore. I was growing up. I didn't have the money to keep playing, and I got out of the game.
Yeah, sure.
But I kept abreast of the storyline. I kept kind of knowing what was going on. I kept playing the roleplay game, and then several years ago, after the crab wall fell with the invasion of the Senpet Empire,
Yeah.
I was like, nope, I'm back. Bought a deck, started a gaming group up in Fairbanks where I was living at the time, and got a group going, and we just started playing. I hit the ground running pretty hard, and I kept playing until the game died again a couple years ago.
Yeah, yeah. It was really kind of shocking when it happened too. Like they just gave us the announcement and everything like that, and then there it was over. But FFG's picked it up, and hopefully we'll be seeing some great things out of the storyline. I always mention to people when I'm talking about you, like
Hmm.
how when you came back down from Fairbanks and I saw you playing L5R at the meetup, and I was like, "Oh, you're playing L5R still?" And you're like, "Yeah, I came back. I heard the crab wall fell."
Yeah, I mean, L5R is a strange game. I mean, they created a system where you, as a player, pick a faction, and then with the storyline inducements,
hmm
not only do you pick a faction, but that faction becomes very important to the way you play the game. You may
Yeah,
play other decks, you may experience other clans, but I'm Crab, just
yeah,
as you are Lion. It's just the way it is. And when I found out that the thing that defined the entire clan I put my entire heart and soul of this game into
hmm
was like diminished and gone, I was like, I was Well, I'm not going to say actually emotionally damaged, but it did not feel good.
Oh yeah, you get the feels, right? I mean, that's a lot of
Yeah,
investment in your life that you make with friends, and I try to point that out to people a lot of the time when they ask me why L5R, what's so special about it. It seems like a kind of mediocre, complex game, right? And I tell people like it's about investment. It's really about investment. You know, you get more, you end up putting more into it, and you end up getting more back than you do from just a card game or a board game. You don't see
yeah.
like people getting all hyped up about Agricola or anything, you know. So, but yeah, so like well, welcome on. We will be sure to explore, hopefully coming soon, like the crab fiction and what's going on with the crab wall. And hopefully this is a great new age of L5R. I'm really excited. I'm really pumped. So yeah. So going on with the news, other announcements. I wanted to let everybody know that I finally put up our audio versions, the traditional podcast versions on our SoundCloud. We have a new SoundCloud account where you can listen to us if you're driving to work or just at a workplace or whatever. Although we're not really workplace friendly. But
Well,
yeah, hmm?
I'm not workplace friendly.
Yeah, I
No.
have a mouth on me. I have to watch it sometimes. So yeah, our
Oh, I
SoundCloud
just don't
account.
like working.
Yeah. Our SoundCloud account is L5R Destiny Cast, pretty typical. And just as a reminder for people who may be tuning in for the first time, you can find us on Facebook at Destiny Has No Secrets. Our email is l5rdestinycast@gmail.com. You can Facebook us at L5R Destiny Cast. And we also have this week as another announcement, we've set up a Discord server for those of you on the Discord. You could find the permanent link on the Facebook. I'm going to try to find a better place to position it. Right now, it's on the Learn More button. You click on the Learn More, it'll give you the invite for the Discord channel that we're on, and so you can either I'm going to try to be on there if I'm just cruising the internet or doing whatever, so you can voice chat or talk to me. So other
And
than
I'm
that,
on Facebook, and I'm on Facebook a lot because I'm a stay-at-home father.
yeah. I'm online quite a bit until I at least I go back to school anyway. Like
Yeah.
at which point, but yeah, I'll try to be on there as much as possible. I'm not intending on putting up a Twitter because I'm not a tweeter, as it were. But yeah, so we're all set up on that. And also, if you are interested in watching the episodes, during the week in video format, we post our videos to our YouTube channel, which is L5R Destiny Cast, and we post those in the full length version and also to broken down versions by topic. So, all right, so going on to our first topic of this evening, we got the first fan fiction.
Yay! Well,
Uh,
fiction.
yeah, or
You keep saying
fantasy. I keep on
you
saying
keep saying
fan
fan
fiction.
fiction.
Yeah,
I hope they're fans. I really hope the person writing it is actually a fan and not just a paid author.
I
But
hate this
this is not
game.
technically a fan fiction.
I hate
Why
this
can't
game.
I go back to working on the other games? Why did we buy this one? I started doing this, now all the fans are writing me.
I
I got some
know.
guy in a kimono parked outside my house giving me evil eyes. If you mess this up, I will stab you in your sleep. Whoever that is, stop it. You're making us all look bad.
I know, right? They gave me looks when I was in the car, and I had to drive away. I felt pretty sad about it.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was another guy who drove up behind me. Might have been him too, or
Okay.
her for that
Okay.
matter. I don't know. So yeah, we have the
I'm a,
first fan
I-
fiction
I'm
or
about to put
fake
the
fiction.
I'm about to get the Crab Clan Mon painted on my door panel, but my wife said no. Let me rephrase that. She didn't actually say the words no. She gave me that look that everybody who's married understands. It's the
Yeah, I came home with a L5R tattoo, and my my wife looked at me a little bit, but she's a fan too, so she was just like,
Yeah.
"What?"
My wife isn't so much a fan as she is very, very understanding.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, allow them or their obsessions. So fiction.
So
We have the first fiction. So, and it was the crane. It was revolving around the Crane Clan champion. By the way, there's spoilers in this. If you haven't read it, go over and read it. It's on the Fantasy Flight website. You can download it or view it there and read it. It's a pretty. Generally liked it. But what did you think?
I
What were your thoughts about it? Like,
so I read it once through,
mhm.
then again to more details, and I like the fact that Doji Hattori is now female. I think it fits more with the idea of the artisan clan. I don't. It just maybe I'm being sexist, but for some reason I always saw the Crane clan as a much more feminine aspect of Rokugan,
Okay,
and so it's more of a introduction. Um, uh,
it's a better way of
that's
imagining the clan in your opinion. Like, is that what
I think
you?
so. It made more sense in my brain than the original Doji Hattori, but I didn't really like the original Doji Hattori much.
Yeah,
Just because at the beginning I was very, very, very crab. I was 16,
yeah,
and at 16, yeah,
you're all but Casada and
yeah. Oh, Yakumo actually, Yakumo was my man.
oh yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
when Hida Sakune was killed at the Battle of Baden Pass, I was like, no.
What?
So it's just I like the story. I like the fact that they kept the kind of love story with Kachiko because I mean I love Kachiko.
Yeah,
She's
everybody does. Like everybody
you
loves
know
Kachiko.
she was every L5R fanboy's crush. What can I say?
Yeah, that's true.
And
But
now she's kissing girls. Mm.
oh no.
Yeah, but I mean it's I found some problems with the story
Okay.
just from a pure fan of Rokugan.
Hmm.
I don't see the Crane Clan champion riding as a peasant. Sorry, pretending to be anything other than her station. I think that is almost considered a dishonorable act.
Well, I think that's
She,
the kind of point, isn't it? Like, do you think, like, of the story where she's kind of new to this position and, she's still coming to grips with this position, because of her father and whatnot.
it's a very Western way of dealing with that, though. It's almost like the person writing that story was sitting there thinking, if I was in this position, how would I do this? My father was murdered, maybe,
Hmm.
possibly. I want to get to the city and find out what happened. But instead of doing what she's supposed to do, what is proper, and that is go there under the proper banners and etiquettes and talk to the people she's supposed to talk to
Hmm.
and deal with the pomp and the circumstance that is her position, she decided instead to sneak into the city like a thief. And I think she did.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
okay.
think had I been the GM in that story and my player did that, there'd be some honor rolls.
Well, yeah, I can see what you're saying, like because she's not accepting, but like then again, like I think this also points to they wanted to show us the how different. I mean, because there's a couple things you have to. One, this is the first fiction, right?
Yeah,
So, and not only that, but this is the first fiction for the clan. This is supposed to kind of be the kind of big thing that gives people a good idea of the person that gives some sort of personal investment to the character, and you also have to pay lip service to the changes. You have to show them how similar, but yeah, how different Doji Hitoru is. Because I think we already see how different Hotoru is as opposed to her predecessor Hitori. Like
yeah. Oh, I
just in
keep
the
saying the wrong name.
yeah, it's gonna be a little different. Like it's gonna get a little coming to grips with the different name changes, especially if they continue to do similar things, with different characters, like just change them slightly. But
Yeah,
I think I see what you're saying, where she wanted, she should be definitely taking some sort of honor check. I don't think it's quite as devastating, um, and maybe it's more of a narrative device. Yeah, it is a Western way of dealing with it. But L5R's never had a problem with imposing Western sort of mentalities or mindsets on this fictional Asian universe, right? Uh,
Yeah.
so it's not something
At the end of the
entirely new.
day,
Hmm?
at the end of the day, it's Asian culture as viewed by Americans.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's great because it shows that she is a person of her own. That she still does maintain a sense of honor because she does mention that during the story, but she's also there's a lot of turmoil, and that goes back to sort of the idea of like how difficult it is to maintain your samurai duties, the code of Bushido versus who you are, because she's obviously got a lot of conflict, right? And
Yeah.
that's kind of what I liked about the story the most. Was internal. It made us get to know Hatoru and
Hmm.
to a lesser extent Shizue and Kachiko, and even Satsume. Like even though he was no longer alive, he was dead. He was the kind of the focus of the reason why she became champion, right? But we get to know
Yeah.
Satsume to a degree and see those relationships as they slightly were in the old story, but also like reimagined. They're new. They're slightly different, right? And I really like the nuance that the story had, as well as at the same time showing us this is what the Crane kind of are. This is kind of how because they do definitely show that in the perfection, the flower arrangements, I think that we see a lot of that in Shizue's apartment, as it were, in the way they interact with each other.
I did really enjoy that description of her. It definitely reminded me very much of what I always thought a Crane Clan home should be like.
Yeah,
I realize we're nitpicking nuance, but they went through the time in a short story that short to talk about how they noticed that the flowers weren't the perfect shade of the color,
yeah,
which I personally really don't care about. But the person telling me this story really did, which tells me that they really cared about this. And it really puts you in the mindset of the kind of people you're dealing with.
yeah. The
And then
Crane are
Kachiko showed up and just
perfectionists.
ruined everything.
Huh? What was that?
And then Kachiko showed up and you got a whole new side of him.
Yeah, we got the glimpse of Kachiko coming in and the relationship. We got a brief glimpse into the relationship between Hotoru and Kachiko. I had some pretty stiff criticisms coming into this about how queer or gay relationships should be handled, and I think that they treaded the line pretty well. They were pretty respectful um, about it and not treating it like I was really pleased to see the extent. I would have liked to see a little bit more development because that's one part I liked about the old romance
Mm-hmm.
relationship in the old storyline. Was I first really learned about it in the L5R books. Most of my storyline I learned from the L5R books,
Yeah.
and in the L5R books, when the first edition books came out, we got to see this romance, this budding romance, right? And the kind of flirting and the games, how these two people were very so alike yet so dissimilar, and that there was a perfect symmetry there.
Especially when you read the Winter Court book.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, and it really gave depth not only to Kachiko's character but to Toru's, and I think they did the same thing in a different way. They showed
Mm-hmm.
the mental, like sort of a mental or emotional differences between the two. Where we kind of have reason to kind of doubt Kachiko's motivations, very rightfully, because she's a scorpion. But
Well, she's also Kachiko. It's
yeah, she's like she's like
like
head schemer in the shit, right?
I, I read that story and like the self doubt from the narrator's point of view about should I even tell her that I doubt what I'm being told? Can I even trust this woman who I care for deeply
Yeah,
with the even concept of doubt? It really that
yeah,
spoke more to me than the fact that they're both willing to let down their faces around each other, even in private.
Yeah, like I actually didn't think too much on that. Like that seemed pretty natural, especially anticipating the storyline or the relationship between the two. So it
Hmm.
seemed a very natural part. I don't know how that would view to a person who wasn't as familiar with the storyline, with the old storylines, romance, and so may not be expecting that. So I don't know if that really stood out from a new player perspective or a new reader
Well,
perspective, but it
well, in Rokugan, true love is a curse, not a blessing.
yes, and I really hope that this needs to end in blood. There needs to be tragedy here. I really hope they make. That's one thing I really didn't like about the old storyline
Well,
is I never got the chance
I'm
to.
I'm personally hoping it ends with the final and epic destruction of the Crane Clan.
I think we're gonna go through some heat, but like I think
I don't know what Crab Scorpion player implies here, but if you're Crane,
yeah.
you're kind of Crane.
I don't know. I think
All
we're
you all you Crane Clan players out there, I apologize if I hurt your feelings, but if you play Crane, I just assume you didn't have any.
That's rough.
That's it's a friendly jest.
I know. I
So
understand.
long as you don't play Spider, anything I say to you is in a friendly, joking way. If I'm laughing and joking while playing Spider, it's so I don't offend the censors.
Oh, the emails. I can already see the emails. I'm gonna get hate streamers on here. Like,
Uh, Crab.
I think we're in for to, glaze over this. I think we're in for the Crane are going to be definitely in for some like hardship, and I think they did portray that the weight of that responsibility of all these
Hmm.
hardships. I think they played it a little over, like how they ended it, like and Rakugan's falling apart at the seams. It's like, dude, you have nowhere. Like we're just starting,
I
like
really hope they don't do this to us again.
what do you mean?
You know what I'm saying? I get that you want big epic storylines because it sells cards and it makes the game good,
Gotcha.
but you can't end the world every 2 years.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna play it out a little bit more. I mean, we'll talk about that here in a little bit.
It's a pet peeve of mine. It's one of the things I didn't like about the game.
Yeah, it's like everything's gonna die, and it doesn't. We win again. Continue
Yeah,
on until it
it's
doesn't.
like
But
my favorite line from you remember Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that show?
yeah,
Yeah, that show. I love that show. There's a scene in one of the episodes where somebody goes, not an apocalypse, the apocalypse. I'm like, you've had so many fake apocalypses that this is your selling point now?
no, they discussed that in the AMA a little bit about
Yeah,
not to detract too much. Well, like they discussed that in the AMA about like what kind of story they wanted to tell, right?
yeah.
And I think that we see that evident here. Um, like since we're kind of glazing into our third topic, was there anything else that we want to talk about with this particular fiction that we liked or disliked or thoughts before we go on?
So, okay, after my crack about the Crane Clan and the Spider Clan, I'm afraid the next thing I'm going to say is just going to get us a flood of hate mail. So
That's
if
fine.
you listen to what I'm about to say
You don't have to
and
read
you
that
want to
here.
send hate mail, please just wait a week. She is not acting very honorably.
You don't
She
think
is
so?
the leader of the Crane Clan, and she sneaks into the city like a thief in the night.
Hmm.
She isn't trusting the people who she's supposed to trust, i.e., the imperial magistrates, to find out what happened to her father. There's an order to these things. There's ways things are supposed to happen,
Hmm.
and instead of doing her part and going to them personally and saying what happened through the proper channels, she does it this way. And then with Kachiko, I realized that there's something going on there. There's probably an unrequited love, or maybe not an unrequited love. They've yet to tell us. Maybe in this version of the storyline, they've actually
That's
consummated their feelings. But I
Well, I think that there's
They
a
are,
lot of dis unrest in the Empire, maybe, like because they were
yeah,
talking about how the Scorpion have gained control, a lot more power, over the Empire, and they've kind of they're starting to subvert the Crane's political clout.
yeah,
So, like I think that's interesting. I think they should probably follow up with that though. Is like give us some context for the reasons why she's behaving in this manner a little bit more.
yeah.
Because they, even though they did a little bit like she didn't know who killed the, she's mistrustful who killed the Emerald Champion, and we suspect, a couple different characters, which was great because they actually gave us some name drops.
Hmm.
We hear about Shisoro Hametsu or Hametetsu, Hametsu, the Poison Master guy.
Yeah,
Um,
Kichiko's brother.
yeah, and how
Yeah.
he's vying for the Emerald. She suspects him. So I would like to see
Hmm.
a little bit more play with this conspiracy element, maybe, and I think that will kind of
Hmm.
add some context behind her behavior. Maybe that wasn't exactly reinforced, because I think there's a reason why she might be acting like this, right? You
Yeah,
know.
I really do hope so. Because as much as I dog the Crane Clan because of reasons, I do actually enjoy the concept of the Crane Clan.
Yeah, yeah, and
I there needs to be somebody that holds the entire empire to a higher set of standards for honor and decorum and socials. There needs to be somebody who says to the rest of the empire, "You can't act like this. If you act like this, you will not fall apart. You can treat people like this. You can treat your betters like this. You can treat your subordinates like this. You can be a good person who loves art, and you can be everything that you're supposed to be and still function."
mhm.
That's what the Crane Clan does. They are the center of the social world, and they're good at it. I personally don't like the Crane Clan because
But they're not your clan.
I'm,
They're
they're
not
not
what
my
you do.
clan. I'm very, I'm very Crab. I'm very Scorpion in my thinking and the way I play the game. When I play the role play game, I play Scorpion. When I play the card game, I play Crab.
Mm.
So, so the Crane Clan have always been kind of a nemesis, if you will. But over the years, as I've grown up, I've learned to greatly respect the Crane Clan for what they do.
Yeah, and I think in
Even,
this fiction, I think they highlighted what, not to just go over it, but like they highlighted what is Crane, the perfection, the attention to detail. Satsume's, the little flashback we had of Hotoru and Satsume, where it's like good enough is, not, it's just a house on the road that you like living in. You know what I mean? That
yeah, it's a
kind of
stopping point, not a home.
yeah, that attention for perfection, that striving to be the perfect thing,
Hmm.
I definitely do think they highlighted that. Maybe not in their behavior necessarily, but they did show it to us in this story. So it'll be interesting to see how it develops. Certainly,
Yeah.
I'm really it got me excited. It got me excited for the crane. I'll say that, right?
No, no, yeah, definitely. I
Those.
will say this though to anybody listening to this,
Mm-hmm,
who is not a old player. Any new players to the game,
mm-hmm.
if you're gonna decide to start with the Crane Clan, think long and hard about it. They are not an easy clan to start with.
Well, we don't know exactly how they're going to play out necessarily. We've seen some
No, that's true.
things, so
Honestly,
there's
I'm gonna say that about every clan that isn't Crab.
that's true.
Um,
Crab is pretty, yeah, like what's hard
do
compared to crab? I
did,
bring
did I
close
ever
on dudes, I attack with dudes.
did
Smash
I ever tell you
things.
the story of how I started playing Crab?
No, no, you didn't.
So I was 16 years old. I asked for this game for Christmas. It was in a magazine. I saw a little blurb and I was like, I want to try this game. I asked for it for Christmas. My grandmother got me a Dragon Clan deck and a Crab Clan deck. I
Gotcha.
opened them both up. No idea how to play the game. Couldn't understand the rule book. Um, uh, I don't learn by reading rules. I need someone to physically teach me a game. It doesn't matter what the
Gotcha.
game is. To this day, I'm still like that. So I took randomly one of the two decks to a friend's house,
Mhm.
and I picked the crab one because it had one more personalities in the deck. And that was it. That was
That's
it.
kind of the way I got started. I just got
Yeah.
like, we used to order our decks and everything like that from mail order because we lived out in the boonies,
Hmm.
and so we just tried different card games because we were tired of Magic, and you know, one of the games that we picked up that we ordered was Alpha, this game, Legend of the Five Rings. So I show up when the stuff arrives by mail to my friend's house, and I walk in. I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And they literally just hand me like, "Okay, you got these two clans left because everybody else took all the cool clans first, like the
Yeah.
dragon." And so we took Naga, and I think no, we didn't have Scorpion, I don't think, but yeah. And then I got
Scorpion and Naga weren't out yet.
no, I got started
Naga
after.
didn't drop for like a year.
I know I didn't get started in Imperial. I got started just before
Oh,
Obsidian, technically in Emerald. So yeah, we had
okay.
picked up the extra packs and things, and then Lion was in the box. But I liked them. I think they're pretty cool, right? They
Hey,
definitely
a lot.
end up fitting my playstyle kind of oddly enough.
Yeah.
So
Anyways, yeah, back to the subject at hand because I kind of derailed us.
no problem. Changes are great. Let's go on to our third topic though, about storyline because we started to drift that way anyway, so we might as well just start
Hmm.
talking about it.